The Fed just dropped a massive bombshell with key changes to its economic projections. So we'll discuss in today's video what that means for the economy and crypto. We know Bitcoin's been consolidating, sellers have started to exhaust, but will the bulls start to make their move as sell volume declines and crypto sentiment hits an all-time low? Because we seem to be poised for a reversal. All very bullish, right? Well, to top it off, rumors are swirling that President Trump might have a trick up his sleeve as he's teased that he'll be making a special announcement today at the Digital Summit. So stick around in today's video if this sounds interesting to you, and we'll get into all the details as to how and why this might be a good time for you to jump into crypto. So let's dive in. All right, so we know Bitcoin bounced with the news of the FOMC tapering off or starting to unwind its quantitative tightening. So it wasn't exactly the news we were hoping for, as I'll get into here in a moment, but it was at least a good signal in the right direction. And we know that we ended yesterday, March 19th, with another positive day of inflowing value into the Bitcoin ETFs across the top institutions. So this is a continuation of bullish momentum and sentiment from the top financial institutions vetting and giving their vote of confidence towards Bitcoin and the Bitcoin ETFs. So this is really quite incredible. So as we can see summed up here by Bitcoin Magazine, that let me just zoom in on this chart for you and you'll see that where we are right now, let me zoom in for you as well. We are finally seeing institutions buying the dip. So it seems like this dip that we've seen Bitcoin go through and the rest of the crypto market is tapering off, because as Bitcoin Magazine puts it here, that after weeks of Bitcoin ETFs outflows, we're once again seeing institutions accumulating Bitcoin. So this is a really good signal, because remember, they would not be buying up, they would not be scooping up if they didn't have reason to believe that it's a good idea to, and that maybe the market is signaling to them that it's a good time to stack more Bitcoin in terms of the Bitcoin ETFs. So, and remember, we have to follow what smart money does. So that's a really strong indicator in my opinion. But anyway, to summarize what happened yesterday, such a historic day. It was actually really funny to see Jerome Powell deliver. It's always funny for me because he's so cryptic. Let me know what you think. Why so cryptic? You have to pause and listen and think about what he says, because he speaks in this sort of complicated way. But anyway, here's a summary. If you want to take a screenshot, this is what was basically said is: 1, the Fed will leave rates unchanged for the second straight meeting. 2, the Fed says uncertainty around the economy has increased. Okay, once again, how they calculate this, who knows? But we know that the tariffs have something to do with it. Obviously, the war and this whole ceasefire situation, which we're in the middle of right now between Russia and Ukraine, is also in the air and causing a sense of uncertainty. But we do know that there have been many metrics shared on how the market and the economy is starting to rally. I went into this a little bit of this in yesterday's show. So we are starting to see the effects of this new administration projected in the economy and in the new figures. So let's keep reading. What else? So number 3, one of the third outcomes of yesterday's meeting with the FOMC is that the median forecast shows 5 BPS of rate cuts in 2025. So that's at least positive. For the Fed to slow balance sheet runoff beginning of April 1st. So to start tapering off this quantitative tightening. 5, Fed sharply reduces 2025 growth projections. Once again, I don't know if they even have enough information to do that, but based off of what they know, this is what they've decided to do. Number 6, the Fed marks up their 2025 inflation forecast. So let's keep reading. So here we have Crypto Patel zooming in on it a little bit in more detail, and they explain a little bit more like what actually happened yesterday. And they explained that starting in April, the Federal Reserve will reduce the monthly Treasury runoff cap from $25 billion to $5 billion, while keeping the agency debt and MBS cap at $35 billion. So key points on this is that the Treasury runoff of $5 billion a month will be $5 billion a month, previously $25 billion. The agency debt and MBS cap remains unchanged at $35 billion, and a slower balance sheet reduction. So this will be more liquidity, even though it's not quantitative easing or printing. It's at least going to be more liquidity because they're not going to be buying back bonds as much. What else? So we have Kobesi letter here breaking it down in further detail for us, explaining that the Fed made multiple revisions to their 2025 economic data projections. So this is a lot of detail for you, but I'm going to read through it so you have a snapshot of what happened. So cuts in 2025, GDP growth projections went from 2.1 to 1.7%. Apparently, this is all very bullish. They raised their unemployment forecast from 4.3% to 4.4%. They also project that PCE inflation forecast will go from 2.5 to 2.7%, and core PCE inflation forecast from 2.5 to 2.8%. Next, we can see the effect that the FOMC's announcement had on the general stock market. As you can see here, virtually the whole stock market, the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the small cap 2000, and the S&P 500 VIX all rallied after the FOMC announcement. And as shared here by Zero Hedge, the S&P 500 is headed for its best Fed decision since July 2022. So this is an incredible rally that we're experiencing right now. Amazing. So many are saying, of course, the FOMC turned out dovish, and it looks like Bitcoin is trying to break out because of it. So we'll have to see what happens, but there are clearly several indicators pointing to this, and we can see here shared by Rect Capital. They say there's been a clear decline in sell volume, which is awesome, right? People are not selling, which means they want to hodl, or they see the value in what they're holding, so they're not selling it as much. So there's an opportunity for the buyers to step in. So it seems the market is turning. It's become more of a buyer-dominated market lately, but buyers need to showcase above average volume for there to be more conviction in this move. Now, remember this, in large part, what we're seeing here are traders, a lot of traders, and those who fundamentally believe in Bitcoin and Bitcoin's value, intrinsic value, they're not selling. So this is retail, and these are traders. That's who we see sort of affecting and moving the market right now. So as I was commenting in my intro, it seems that right now the sentiment in the crypto space is quite low, at an all-time low. I don't have to harp on this or focus on it so much. We know this. If you're in crypto, you know this. The general market has been a little down and weary since the tariffs and all of this uncertainty. So we'll have to see. These next few days are quite critical, actually, in light of the ceasefire between Ukraine and Russia and the ongoing tariff negotiation. I know President Trump is highly incentivized to get it resolved as soon as possible. So is the market. I was listening to countless hours actually today of conversations that are going on, different positions, and we are in good hands is all I can say based off of my own judgment and that of people who know way more than I do. We're in good hands, and it's a turbulent time, and that's that. But we finally caught a break with the FOMC's announcement of at least starting to release their grip, to stop their quantitative tightening. So this will release some liquidity into the market. So it's fantastic. That's what we see in Bitcoin's price right now. So very, very interesting times. And as we see shared here by Neste, they basically show us a few charts side by side, the RSI, the Stoch RSI, and the BBW. And it basically looks like we are positioned to rally, to pump up from here. So we'll just have to see. That's just the way it goes. Markets are so interesting. They react in real time to policy, to changes, to news. So it's very, very interesting. And in the long run, all you have to know is that you need to buy Bitcoin, hodl your Bitcoin, and only put your money into top crypto blue chips that are like the future Microsofts, Amazons, Metas, former Facebooks of the world that are here to bring real change. And if you're backing those types of crypto projects, then you have nothing to worry about. They will go up in value, assuming they have real teams, real tech, all these things. So that's that. And as I alluded to in my intro, we can expect an announcement today from President Trump. We know he is the king of PR and moving markets, and he knows the crypto market has been down. He, has even spearheaded a sovereign wealth fund for the US that's going to include top crypto stablecoins and tokens. So he has even a personal vested interest in making sure that the crypto market stays alive and healthy. And that's one of the main reasons as well that I believe the crypto market is not dead and it's going to bounce back. So anyway, guys, that is a wrap for today's video. Nice and short. It's just a summary of what is going on, what has been happening in the market since the FOMC announcement. And it looks like we're finally at least headed in the right direction. The market got a big sigh of relief. We're seeing that in Bitcoin's price. And we'll just have to wait and see. We know that, the M2 money supply globally is going up because our currencies are still inflating, and there just will be, and there's ongoing money printing all over the world. And countries are highly incentivized to cut rates. And ultimately, this is a really, really good case for Bitcoin. So very exciting times, and it's definitely not over. So I will let you guys go. Have a wonderful day, and I will catch you guys here tomorrow.